Thanks for the opportunity, John, to be here. Real quickly, want to go through my presentation here because I know I'm the last guy and we need to get it moving. So essentially the question that I look to answer is there a symbiotic relationship between Regina and the region? And I would say in many, many ways there are. In my own life there has been. For a number of years I lived outside the city and commuted back and forth to Regina. Which was always great except for those few days when the roads were absolutely pure ice, and those were the days I didn't like it, but otherwise I liked it. And then I've also had the opportunity in my life to actually live in Regina and work outside of Regina, so I've kind of lived that whole sort of lifestyle. So first and foremost, in terms of the relationship, we have one of the fastest growing economies, if not the fastest growing regions in Canada. It is, in fact, it is the fast. GDP growth of 6%, 4.4%, 5.1%, and 3.3% since 2001. We are the envy of the nation in so many ways. I mean, people take shots about, oh, yeah, it's winter, it's cold. But what we fail to say is we have some of the best summers in Canada, bar none. So that's the other side of the whole equation on that one. Labor force, we've created 12,000 jobs since 2011. Pretty impressive, I would say. I mean, when I started at the Chamber, we were almost dead last in every single economic statistic there was. And now today, we lead in almost every single one. Infrastructure, the value of our infrastructure, $4.5 to $5 billion, with a 1.2 to 1.5 billion that's unfunded liability, according to an FCM report that I found on the internet that didn't have a date on it, but it was a pretty good number to use. And then politically, of course, particularly federally, we have a relationship where we have people that represent both Regina and outside of Regina, the region, as well as provincially. So what are our opportunities? I mean, I think a lot of people have already talked about this. Agriculture's huge. I mean, at one time, this was, it was the thing, if you wanted to talk about agriculture, it was always just about this. That is not happening anymore. And I actually I still own it, but I had a farm out by Southie, and I mean, things have really dramatically turned around. And there is money being made on the farm, and there's a huge opportunity. And Murad, the chair of ROC, is obviously a guy that has figured that out and has done very, very well at that. So huge opportunity in agriculture. In manufacturing, again, we have the largest privately held business in Saskatchewan is a manufacturer here in Regina and outside of Regina. Very, very positive, and lots of opportunity there. Oil and gas, even though the price is down right now in oil, I mean, huge opportunity in oil and gas. Halliburton didn't move here for the sake of, well, we'll just move over here because we like the riders, even though their CEO does like the riders. Maybe not last night, but I'm sure he does again today. Mining, lots of mining opportunities that are here in and around this city, K+S, and lots of talk about a number of other players in the market there. Logistics, Brian talked about that, pretty big and important in the Regina region right now. And government services, people harass me about, you represent the capital city in the province. I'm happy to represent the capital city in this province. We're doing very, very well, and no, it isn't just a government town, but there are a lot of business opportunities that come as a result of being a capital city, so we're very, very happy to be one. And housing, there's still lots of opportunity in housing. I know that some of the numbers, and Stu, please don't ask me a question because you ask really good questions, but there still will continue to be good opportunities on the housing market, and I'll tell you why. It's because we're still creating opportunities here in this region. So what are some of the challenges? And I would say there are also opportunities. First and foremost, labor force. How do we attract the labor force of today and tomorrow? And I couldn't agree more that we need to do a much better job at engaging Aboriginal people. We have a competitive advantage in that area, and we need to do more. Recently, we worked with one employer, because we kind of are a labor force kind of chamber now. We don't really talk a lot about taxes, although we will here in a couple of weeks when we talk about the local budget. But we worked with one employer who had 2 Aboriginal employees, and within a year he's gone to 60 Aboriginal employees. So good story, but we need to continue to do more there and work more together on this very, very important issue, because labor force is one of our big constraints to growth. And it's something that we need to do more of, which feeds in very, very well with housing. And I think the market did respond on the housing side of the equation very, very well. Infrastructure, I think it's really, really important. How do we work together to develop a national infrastructure plan? There's no way that we can look at property tax to fund the liability that we have. There needs to be a national response to this that addresses the needs from coast to coast to coast. And there needs to be at least 3 levels working together. And is that going to solve all of our needs? No, but it's going to be a step in the right direction. You know, because of, I don't know if you guys heard, there was a little bit of a discussion here in Regina last year around this time about P3 projects. We are very, very supportive of P3s. I think there's an opportunity to maybe even look at bundling some of these types of projects as a region to make some things happen. I think this question has been answered all day today, and that is, that we do need to work together to maximize on our potential. I mean, I pulled out this little slogan. It was from a Pink Floyd sort of lyric. Together we are strong, and divided we fall. I think it's very, 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 very true that if we can work together, we'll get some things done. If we want to work in silos, good luck. So where do I think we need to go? In some regards, I think we need to do a needs assessment. What do we really know? I mean, there's a lot of things that we think we know, and then you do the research and it's wrong. I mean, John and I talked a couple of weeks ago, and we thought we did really good on the agri-food side of the equation, and it turns out we don't do as good as we thought we did. So we need to understand our economy a lot better than we currently do. And then ultimately, what don't we know? I mean, that's another question that we have to have answered. What are our barriers to growth? I think that if we're not working together, that's obviously going to be a barrier. And if we're not inclusive and include everyone, that's obviously going to be a barrier. And, I know that from our surveys to our membership, it is about labor force. That's one of the issues. And then close behind, it's not taxes, surprise, surprise, it's infrastructure. Most people would think it would be taxes, and it certainly isn't. And then ultimately, and this is the real last question, is does everybody really want to grow? And it seems like a really dumb question, but it isn't, because there are people that do not want to grow. There are people within this community right here, right now, today, that would like to turn the hands of time back, and let's go back 20 years or 30 years or whatever that number is. And so there needs to be a recognition of that as we move forward. I think that's the last piece of the slide that I had. So I told you I'd be brief. There you go. Thank you very much.